The 2024 presidential election. Kamala Harris versus Donald Trump. A defining moment for America. The 2024 presidential election is shaping up to be one of the most pivotal in recent U.S. history. It's a matchup that puts Vice President Kamala Harris against former President Donald Trump, two figures with contrasting visions for the future. This election could fundamentally redefine the direction of the country, touching upon issues like healthcare, economic stability, social justice, climate change, and the strength of American democracy itself. The stakes are high. This election is not just about choosing between two candidates. It's about choosing between two very different futures. The stakes include not only domestic issues like the economy and healthcare, but also America's role on the global stage. Policies around climate change, immigration, and human rights are pressing, and given the polarization in today's political landscape, the decisions made now could have long-term consequences. Kamala Harris, charting a progressive path. As the current vice president, Kamala Harris represents continuity with the Biden administration's approach, but also embodies her own progressive ideals. Harris brings a strong record on social justice and a commitment to reforming systems that many Americans believe need transformation. Her focus on equity in healthcare, tackling systemic racial disparities, and fortifying education resonates with a younger generation looking for change. A Harris administration would likely prioritize climate policy, with strong commitments to clean energy and emissions reduction, as well as a continued push to expand healthcare coverage. For those concerned with global alliances and stability, Harris represents a predictable and steady approach to international relations. Her vision aims to solidify America's role as a leader in global cooperative efforts, from climate change to human rights. Donald Trump, a return to America. First, for Donald Trump and his supporters, this election represents a chance to return to the America First philosophy that characterized his previous term. Trump's focus is often on deregulation, economic growth through tax cuts, and a hardline stance on immigration and border security. He aims to reinvigorate American industry, reintroduce protectionist policies, and scale back what he views as government overreach. A Trump presidency might mean fewer restrictions on businesses, more control for states on healthcare and social services, and potentially a stronger focus on traditional energy sources. For his base, Trump represents a return to policies that prioritize American interests, often above global considerations. The future of American democracy. One of the most important elements of this election is the dialogue around American democracy itself. With record turnout in recent elections, Americans are showing that they are invested in the political process. However, controversies surrounding election integrity and campaign practices have intensified discussions about reforms to ensure that every vote counts. Both Harris and Trump come to the table with divergent ideas on election laws, voter access, and democratic practices. Harris's approach focuses on expanding voting access and reforming systems she believes limit participation, whereas Trump advocates for stricter election laws that his supporters argue protect the integrity of the ballot. Social and economic issues, a crossroads. This election will address many of the pressing issues Americans face today. From inflation and income inequality to healthcare access and education, the policies each candidate promotes could take the country in vastly different directions. The Harris campaign tends to focus on enhancing social safety nets, bolstering public education, and supporting middle and lower-income Americans, while Trump's policies focus on economic growth through reduced regulation and increased incentives for business. The decisions made this election season could redefine labor laws, influence education funding, and reshape economic policy. The differing philosophies will impact everything from daily life to broader societal trends, including how Americans access healthcare, whether college becomes more affordable, and how jobs will adapt in an era of rapid technological change. The role of the Supreme Court and judicial appointments. The next president may have the opportunity to appoint Supreme Court justices, shaping the ideological balance of the court for decades to come. This alone makes the election profoundly consequential. Issues such as reproductive rights, voting laws, environmental regulations, and civil liberties are regularly influenced by the court's makeup. With the Supreme Court already tilted conservatively, a Trump presidency could solidify that balance, while a Harris presidency could open up the chance for a shift back toward a more balanced or liberal-leaning judiciary. A divided nation at a critical juncture. The 2024 presidential election underscores a country grappling with its identity and values. America remains deeply divided, and this election represents a test of unity and resilience. Whether Americans choose the path of progressivism with Harris or a return to Trump's brand of nationalism, the outcome will echo through the years, impacting future generations. This election is a defining moment. Voter turnout, public discourse, and civic engagement are more crucial than ever. As the country stands on the edge of history, the importance of each American's voice cannot be overstated. The power to shape the future lies in the hands of the voters, who will decide the direction of the nation on Election Day. This article highlights the critical issues and implications of the Kamala Harris versus Donald Trump election, emphasizing the significance of every vote in shaping the future of the country. Let me know if you'd like any adjustments or additional focus on specific issues.